So today we're going to talk about the labor experience. Now, it might be your first time, it might be your second time or third time, but this is our story and it might help if you're expecting, planning to conceive, because we might be able to answer some of the questions that we had before. And one of the things we agreed, Daisy and I, was I would be with her in the labor ward, or let's just say we would walk the whole journey together right from conception to delivery. And if you're new here, I'm Mark, she's Daisy, and welcome to the channel. Click subscribe and click the bell icon as well, so you don't miss any of the videos that we'll post after this one. And if there are videos that you haven't yet watched, they are.
Just watch them.
Go to the channel.
So I'm going to share our labor story with our son. It was our first time in labor.
Yeah.
We were completely clueless, didn't know what to expect, and we'll share what we did different with our second and what we think helped. So our son, Eliam. At the time, I was staying home majorly and my husband would go to work. So one morning, after my breakfast, the routine was take a nap. We all know third trimester naps. So after I'd taken my nap, I woke up, I had a full bladder, so I went to the bathroom and then I had a bloody show. I was like, oh my God, what's this? What's this? And you know the movies really dramatize these things for us. I thought, oh my God, the baby's coming like in the next few hours. So I called my husband. He came home so fast, and like when I called him, he was like, what? Okay, I'm coming. He tried to stay calm, but I could hear it. I could hear it in your voice that you were panicked. So he managed to get a vehicle that would drive fast, not him driving. Came fast, picked me up. We had packed, first time parents. We were ready. We were packed like weeks in advance. Mm-hmm. Went to the hospital. Of course, I had called my doctor and he had said, come, let's check. We checked. I was not yet dilated. I think I was effaced. I don't know what they mean by that. 100% effaced or something, 50% effaced. I don't remember those details, but he sent us back home and said, wait, when you start to feel crampish and what, call me. So we went back home. I was like, okay, so the journey starts. While I was at home, my husband went back to work because that was in the afternoon. By the time he came back at about 7, I was starting to feel cramps. And I didn't know if this was the actual labor. Like I didn't know in a few hours will the baby be here or we can actually labor at home. So I called him and told him, once you get back, we're going to just get ready and go to the hospital. And that's what we did. Obviously called our parents. They were also on edge. They were like, we're also coming. They thought the baby would come that night. So we checked into the hospital. I think we arrived at midnight.
Yeah.
We arrived at midnight.
11:30.
11:30. Thankfully, our doctor is very hands-on. So we found he was still at the hospital waiting for us. He checked us in, checked me. I think I was at 2 centimeters. He said, you have the night. I'll find you in the morning. So I was like, fine, let's labor. We're excited. So we knew you're supposed to walk. What? So we walked around the corridors of the hospital. We kept on talking. We had planned before that we'd listen to music. But remember, he had had a full day of work. So he really needed to sleep. Kept on walking. At some point, he said, dozing off. I also tried to sleep, but it's uncomfortable because a lot is going on with your tummy, the cramping and all. But it was not unbearable. Like I could talk through it. I could sit. You wouldn't even know that I was in labor if I didn't tell you. Then at about 2 a.m., I was lying down and I just felt a warm gush of water. So I was wondering, what's that?
And I was excited.
Yeah, he was excited. So I told him something is coming out of me. So he runs and calls the midwives who are on call that day, and they come check, and my water had broken. We're like, okay. So we clean up.
I thought now it's time.
Yeah. We thought it was time. Anyway, so we clean up. What they tell us, Kawa, continue going through labor. in the morning. Of course, by then I was exhausted because I had hardly slept, but he had gotten a bit of shut eye. So our doctor comes and checks us. I think I was still at 2 or 4 centimeters.
About 4.
I think I'd moved to 4 centimeters by the morning. That's about 9 a.m. This labor, I think, in total was more than 24 hours, but the active labor was maybe 17 hours.
The total time was about 17 hours.
About 17 hours. Mom brain. Anyway, so they check me. I'm at 4 centimeters. My doctor says, if by 2 p.m. you haven't progressed from 4 centimeters, then we're going to have to augment labor. That's where they give you a drip to make the contractions stronger so your cervix can dilate faster. I'm like, I'm not going to need that. So I was doing squats. I got a chair and was kneeling down on it with my legs separated so that the pressure and gravity can open the cervix. 2 p.m. they check. I'm at 4 centimeters. Guys, I could have cried at that point. I was so tired. I was so frustrated. I was like, I've done everything. I've done squats. I'd literally done everything that we know to do. So at that point, Mark and I couldn't make the decision because he was asking us, should I now augment labor? Like, I couldn't make the decision. But my parents were obviously there waiting. Our parents were all there, right? Because it was our first baby, the first grandchild.
Yours, mine hadn't yet
come. They didn't yet come. Okay, so he called my mom in. My mom is in the medical field and asked for her opinion so she could weigh in. Because she was like, yeah, let's do it. Because the longer labor it goes on, it's dangerous for especially the baby and the mom. And you get tired.
The child also gets tired.
The child gets tired, and my water had broken, so that means with time the water can get done, and that's dangerous for the baby. So my mom talked to us and told us, what? This is the better option. Let's do this. So they put that drip. Oh my God. It felt like 2.5 seconds and everything turned. It was like a 180 change. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The contractions was so intense. I started puking. They put that drip at about 3 p.m. and Eliam was born at 5:47 p.m. So in about 2 hours and 40 minutes, we had gone from almost 0 to 100. So I was screaming because no one prepares you for how intense labor pains are. I was screaming. I was in so much pain. I didn't know what to do with my body. I kept on telling everyone that was around us, I just need 1 minute to breathe.
And I almost lost my shirt.
Yeah, I pinched him a lot. I squeezed him. I pulled his shirt. Guys, I didn't know how to make it through that. And then I was screaming. And they kept on telling me, preserve your energy, don't scream. But the only way that I could make it through those contractions was by screaming. In about an hour, I think I was like at 8 centimeters. So the midwives come and help me move across the hall to the delivery room. And I think from the time they put that drip and things changed, I don't think I had anything from my husband. Did you speak? Did you say anything?
I just had challenges with my shirt.
So they were rubbing my back. I wanted like a hot compress on my back and my tummy because the cramping on my back and my tummy was so intense. And when the water would drop by even just 1 degree, I would be screaming. So my husband was running around getting hot water. We hadn't planned to go with a hot water bottle, so we had to improvise with water bottles. And there was a midwife. If she ever watches this, she's called Victoria. She was so good to us. She rubbed my back. She showed us how to do it. And within no time, it was time to push. But no one teaches you how to push. You're not pushing the right way. I'm like, I am pushing. You're not pushing the right way. Guys, I felt like I was pushing for ages. And my husband was right here by my side. My mom was on this other side. And she kept on telling me, don't scream, and tapping me. And when you're in labor, it's very easy to get irritated. So at some point I told her, Mommy, you first get out. because I was getting so irritated. I was in so much pain. I felt like my body was not my own, like someone else was in charge of my body. I just couldn't wait for the baby to come out. So we continue pushing. At some point they tell me, okay, maybe try getting up and like pushing from a different position. I couldn't. My body was not strong enough to hold me in that position. Mm-hmm. Even in the lying down position, I needed help holding my legs up. I was exhausted. And throughout labor, I hardly ate. I tried to eat breakfast, but I was feeling nauseous, so I hardly ate. And imagine, for all my pregnancy, I don't get nauseous. But that time, during labor, I puked. I was nauseous. It was so odd for me. So we push, and when the baby's head is about to come out, the doctor says we're going to have to cut because you're a new mom, so the baby needs more access. So he cut. I felt that, but the contractions were more painful than that cut. So the baby came out, and I felt like he just came out quickly.
Yeah, right. Once the head comes out, then the rest is quite easier.
Yeah, and he came out.
And then all the pain disappears, right?
As soon as he came out, guys, it's like a miracle. It's a true miracle of heaven. Once the baby comes out, all is well with the world. The pain completely stopped. I didn't even know where my husband was at that time, because by the time the baby came out, he was here. Then the child came out, they put him here, and I don't know where my husband went. I think he was just so excited.
I was with the child in the...
No, but remember they first brought him here.
For a few seconds, and took the child to that thing.
But at some point during labor, when my labor was so intense, Mark told me this after he was in the corner having a moment with God.
We shouldn't have recorded that.
Tell us, babe, how was it like for you seeing me in labor and all those hours and the emotions of seeing your baby being born?
The pain, you feel like, personally, I felt like I needed to share the pain with you because...
Were the pinches sufficient? Guys, I pinched him.
I was like, okay, at least...
I'm also getting something.
Yeah. But the most emotional thing is like when you see
the baby coming
the child. Yeah, it's just, for me, it was too emotional. So probably because yes, it was the first, but even for the second, it was the same, and it's an unreal experience that you can't explain. But the question I have for you is, can you give us give us something that is similar to what labor is like, to give us an idea of what to expect?
Before
is it like someone is piercing you with like spears or
no
what?
So before we went into labor, I kept on asking people who had been to labor what it's like can you compare it? Is it like cramps? Is it like being punched in the tummy or whatever? But no one could really explain to me, and no one can really explain to you what labor is like. But it's intense cramping. I don't know. And for me, I got it in my back and in my tummy. And then there's just a lot going on.
So is it like someone is squeezing your back and squeezing your tummy at the same time?
Squeezing feels so light. It's like it's happening on the inside.
With hot gloves.
On the outside, it's not hot. Okay. It's on the inside, it's on the outside. I can't compare it, and you feel like you're not in control of your body. It's like I cannot say stop and it stops. I cannot will myself to stop it. You're not in control of anything that's happening with your body. You just have to allow it to happen.
So is there any difference between your experience with the first child and the second child?
Yes. When we conceived Liam, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was like, no more trying to suck in your stomach. I don't have to be active and try to eat healthy. And like now I'm pregnant. We're eating for two. Everything I want, I eat. And I did just that. I enjoyed that pregnancy so much. Everything I wanted, I ate. I did not bother to work out. After eating, I'll just lie down and take a nap. I was a princess, guys. But after giving birth, and I felt the effects of that in labor. Like I felt like I wasn't healthy. I felt like I didn't have as much strength. So after giving birth to Eliam, I made a mental note that before we had our second baby, I would be at a healthy weight. With Eliam, by the time we conceived, I think I was 65. I was 65 kilos. So I determined that I would go back to my pre-wedding weight before we conceived our second child. So I was eating healthy. I was working out. I tried to now be more active physically. And then we conceived our baby. And even when I was like 25 weeks, it would be hard for someone to tell that I was pregnant. I was really healthy. And with Liam, I put on 10 kilos like throughout the pregnancy. I think with Hanela, I only put on about 7. So from 57 to like 63, 65 tops. So I was healthier with Hanela. I felt stronger, like my body was stronger. Before the hospital we attend, there's a bit of a hill to get to the reception. And by the time I'd get to the reception, I feel like I was running out of breath. So when they would even take my blood pressure during triage, it was a bit elevated. So even in the last weeks of that pregnancy, at some point my doctor was worried about preeclampsia. So he was trying to monitor, and there's a certain test he asked for. He was trying to monitor us closely just because of my blood pressure. So I determined that with the second pregnancy and consecutive pregnancies, I would be healthier and be on top of my game, health-wise, physically, what I eat and all that. So with Hanela, I did that. I was working out before and I worked out throughout the pregnancy. I was eating healthier. I was more conscious of what I was putting in my body. And I was actually tucking in my stomach, because I read that when you do that, when you try and tuck in your stomach for as long as you can, then it helps those muscles during labor. It strengthens them and they help you during labor. And I actually saw that during our labor with Hanela. So our labor with Hanela was shorter, and I felt like I was more in control of my body. I didn't scream.
It was like what, 5 hours?
The active labor, yeah, even less.
Active.
Yeah, the active labor, like where I can't talk. It was even less than 5 hours. So I had also learned about breathing through labor. So I was doing not the exact hypnobirthing, because hypnobirthing has a lot to it, but I picked out like the important parts of it: how to breathe, how to be in control of my body, how to surrender to what my body is going through, because you cannot control that pain, you cannot control those contractions, so you somehow have to surrender your body. It's like the first time you have sex, you have to surrender your body. If you're going to think about it, if you're going to really cautiously think about it, then there's a way that you tighten, especially if you're a virgin. There's a way that your body will tighten. So I had to learn how to surrender my body to the pain, like allow the pain to come and go. And I felt like I was more in control with Hanela. Yes, I needed the back rubs, I needed the hot water bottle, but I wasn't screaming, I was breathing, my eyes were closed, like I was in control. We had set a playlist to listen to, and we had set a playlist to listen to, and we were able to actually play it.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think a husband should do, or what are expectations? What do you think a husband, what's his position in
the process?
Yeah.
For us, whenever I'm reading all these things, I forward them to my husband to also read, because for me, I don't want anyone else in labor with me. My husband has to be there. Like, I don't want a replacement for him.
So should it be a must for husbands to be there in labor?
It's not a must, but for me, I feel like it's very important to me. It helps me knowing that he's there, knowing that we're going through this together, and I feel like no one knows me as well as he does. yes, I'd expect you think your mom knows you, but childbirth it's different. There's a lot of emotion that your mom may not get as much as your partner will get. So I would share with him what I was learning, how to breathe. So I'd tell him I need to hold my breath in for 4 seconds, let it out for 6 seconds, like that, to manage our breath. So we're even learning that together. We'd breathe together. At some point during labor, I told him, just breathe with me. He knows that when I'm in labor, I don't want to be talked to, asked questions and what. So he's the best person for me to have during labor.
Another question for
ask. Oh, before you ask, also music. I let him know what music I wanted to listen to, the things I wanted to listen to during labor. Yeah.
When you're giving birth normally?
Vaginally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally are naked.
Yeah.
So aren't you conscious of like the doctors seeing you and the nurses seeing you as you are?
Something happens in your brain when you're in labor, babe. I did not care about who was seeing me, and thankfully was surrounded by people that were very professional. So everyone that was around us was we had midwives, I think 2 or 3, and our doctor. They were all professional, they're respectful. People are just there to do their job. And of course my husband. Yeah. So how to involve your husband? While you're learning these things, let him learn. For the husbands, learn. Like, if you're afraid of labor, what about your wife? If your wife was also afraid of labor, how would she go to labor? Because husbands say, I'm afraid of blood. What if I was afraid of blood? Would we ever go to labor? So try and be strong and be there for her, because it's a different kind of emotion having your partner there with you.
Okay. Maybe something we can say finally is you can actually ask your child to come out.
Yeah.
It's something which we learned. You can speak to the child and say their name.
Yeah.
If you already have a name.
Yeah.
I speak to you and I declare that you're coming out now in Jesus' name.
Yeah. And also I wanted to speak about your mindset. Yeah. I always tell people that ask me about my labor story and what, your body was created to do that. Like, God gave you everything that labor is intense, but look at me, I'm going back a third time. God created your body specifically to be able to do that. Like, he put everything that you need to be able to bring forth life. Yeah. And I didn't get any pain medication or what, we just did it. And I can test, it's intense, it is painful, but you can do it, and you just have to master your mind. Tell your mind, I can do this. There's some questions that I got that I want to answer very quickly. Where are they? So someone was asking me, is walking enough? I also have to say that before you decide to work out while you're pregnant, make sure you get cleared by your doctor. Like, you don't have a high risk pregnancy. Your doctor is okay with you being active. How do I work out? There's a channel on YouTube called Nourish Move Love. I love her pregnancy workouts, and she just gave birth about 2 weeks ago. So there are recent workouts that I'm following, her recent pregnancy workouts that I'm following. I work out, listen to your body while you're working out. If you feel tired, take a break. If you feel like what are they called? Those intervals of working out are too short, then you can increase yours, like listen to your body, but try and stay active, get your heart strong. Apps that I would recommend, I will put those on my Instagram story. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me. I'm not doing this for the first time. This is my 3rd pregnancy, and I'm working out for the 2nd time pregnant. About to have my first, can you please recommend some tips on having an easier labor? I think I've shared the tips on having an easier labor. Be healthy pre-pregnancy and even during pregnancy. Have a positive mindset. Have a supportive support system. people who will actually root for you, people who know what you want during labor. You can have someone there, and then for you while you're in labor, this person is telling you, I think now let's do a C-section, maybe it's too intense. Yet for you, your actual plan was to go through labor, so they end up discouraging you, yet you're actually progressing well. I'm not saying that having a C-section while you're laboring is bad. Sometimes it's necessary medically, but having the person that's there with you bringing you down from your initial plan is not the right thing. When do you start working out when you're pregnant? For me, I start even before. Even before. In the first week, I work out. It helps me. It helps with my energy. Those what are they called? Hormones, endorphins that you get after you've worked out. Those happy hormones. I love them because the first and third trimester, you just want to sleep. Your body is doing so much. It's going through so much, and you just want to sleep. Yet you have work to do. I have work to do. So working out really helped me. With Hanela, I was working out with husband dearest. With this baby,
we're working out different times.
Right, I'm waiting for him. Different times of the year. Anyway, one last question. I feel like most of them are the same. Do you feel any pain in the stomach? No, I don't feel any pain while I'm working out. And if you felt any pain while you're working out, just stop, consult your doctor. I have fibroids and I'm pregnant. The pain is crazy. Whatever case you're going through, guys, first get cleared by your doctor. I cannot say that enough. Get cleared by your doctor. Someone asked what are the advantages of working out. I feel like I was stronger. I was more in control of my body, and like my body was stronger to do it. My heart was stronger because most of the exercises that I do while I'm pregnant are cardio. So that deals with the heart. So I felt like my heart was stronger. I do some strength exercises as well. So that also helps my legs because labor is really intense and takes a lot from you physically. So you need to be strong. If you can't work out, I'd encourage that you do walks, like do long walks. Try and keep active. Don't just take naps and hibernate for 9 months. Yeah, your body will show it to you during labor.
Actually, I want to share something for the wives.
Okay.
Yeah, my point being, you actually, when you're going into the labor ward, you just need to have one thing in mind. I'm going in and I'm coming out alive with a child, and I will do it. And whether it is C-section or with the normal delivery, you determine the mindset.
Yeah,
I'm going in and I'm coming out alive with my child and healthy, a healthy child. And it will help you mentally, knowing that you surrendered your body to God, you surrendered your body to whatever needs to get to work to get the child out.
Yeah.
And
let me ask, babe, before we close, were you afraid of getting into labor?
No, I wasn't. I was excited because I was like, wow, this is my first time. I've always wondered, what does this feel like?
Yeah.
The scary bit comes in when maybe the doctor starts saying, like those, when he starts saying, bring this, then you're like, okay, what's happening?
Yeah.
But
yeah. Actually, something that I had forgotten to share was with Hanela, after she was born and they were trying to get the placenta out, I had an overbleeding issue, so they had to work very fast. Like that site where the placenta was bleeding so fast, so I was losing blood fast. That's when I saw my husband. He left the baby. I was like, what do we do? So they started injecting my thigh, and in like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, everything was settled. How was that for you, seeing everyone panicking?
Yeah, I was almost going on my knees, but I knew.
Yeah.
We're going in
and we're coming out
with a child and healthy.
Yeah. So to anyone that is pregnant, you can do it. Your body was created for this. And to the husbands, try as much as possible to summon whatever strength you can to be there for your wife. It goes a long, long way knowing that you are in the room with your partner.
What if she doesn't want?
If she doesn't want, then that's on her. But if she would prefer for you to be there, then try as much as possible to be there.
Do you think we should be having a part 2? Let us know in
Let
the
us
comments.
know, ask whatever questions that you want answered.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Bye!